Hey, Empirenistas, and welcome to today's episode of Empirenista TV. I'm your host, Alicia Henderson, the empire building business and online marketing strategist for the service based entrepreneur that wants to build an empire, slay her goals, and make an impact. And I help you to position yourself as the go to expert in your industry so that you can have that online authority. So, what we're talking about today, we're talking about what everybody wants to know and one of the secrets to attracting your ideal clients. So if you are out there, before we start, go ahead and shout me out a hey girl hey and let me know where you are watching from. If you're in the United States, if you're worldwide, let me know that. And if you are a replay viewer, hello, hey girl hey, what's up? And let me know that you're watching the replay. So I'm going to give it a few seconds for people to hop in. I am going to log out of that. Oh. Okay. And so today we're talking about making sure that we're attracting the ideal client. And it's not about things that are being told out there in the industry. It's not about the glitz and the glamour. We're not talking about that, but we are going to discuss a few things quickly. So I'm just going to get right into it and we'll just go from there. And as soon as okay. So we're talking about what your dream client wants to know. And it's definitely not about the fluff and the glitter or your program details. So that's kind of self-explanatory as to what we're going to be talking about, because that's a lot of things that you go to when you're trying to get your ideal clients and your marketing. And that's okay, because a lot of times that's the first thing we want to go to. When we're writing out our programs, working out our services, we want to go to what the features are. But that's not what they want. So right now I'm going to talk to you about what they don't want, so you know what they don't want. Okay, your ideal clients, they don't want fluff. Let's just be real. I've been on a lot of Facebook Lives. I've been on a lot of webinars where the person is just fluffing for 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, talking about nothing. Your ideal clients, they don't want that. You're wasting their time, and you're not showing them that you value them, and you're not showing them that they are important to you. So if you're gassing them and fluffing them, that's what they don't want. So that's one way how you're not going to attract your ideal client. They don't want that at all, whatsoever. So if you're the person, if you think that it's okay to just talk about and ramble all day long, that's not what they're going to do. So I'm going to talk about what they do want. And I have to do this quickly because I noticed my MacBook was on 23%. So I cannot have a long Facebook Live broadcast today. So what they want to know, this is what they do want to know. This is the biggest thing. They want to know what it is that you are solving for them. That's what they want to know. They don't want to know all these things like the features, like I talked about a couple minutes ago. They don't want to know about, oh, you're going to give me 12 calls, or you're going to give me a website that blah, 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 blah. What is that website going to do for them? If you are a health coach and you're talking about, well, I'm going to give you this 12-step process, nobody wants to hear about a 12-step process. Let's just be honest. Nobody wants to hear that. So if you're talking about a 12-step process, don't lead with that, because automatically that sounds like work. Especially if you're trying to lose weight or get in your best shape possible. That sounds like work, and nobody wants to hear that. They just want to hear about the resolutions and the solutions and the things that you're going to give them that they have an immediate need to. So if you're not leading with the solutions, what you want to do is you want to evaluate your content, your programs, and your services, and go back and say, okay, how can I have this lead with a solution? Also, what am I answering when I am talking to someone on the phone, when I'm creating this content, and when I'm in front of my ideal client? What am I answering for them? What am I telling them that I can do for them? But what are they going to get at the end of working with me? What are the solutions that they're going to have? If you can right now write down 3 solutions that you know, and remember, solutions are not features. So we're not talking about, oh, you're going to get a program and a group. We're not talking about that. We're talking about, by the end of working with me, you are going to have a game plan for your everyday life, so that way you can get yourself back on track if you fall off the wayside with your eating when trying to get yourself fit. Solution. What's the solution there? Your ideal clients, they're falling off the wayside. they're not being able to stay on track when it comes to their eating when they're trying to lose weight. So they need a game plan. They're going to know what to do to get themselves back on track. So what are the solutions that your ideal clients want when they're working with you? So you always lead with that. Even on a sales conversation, with everything, you lead with the solutions. This is why, and I've done this on sales conversations, or when you have a sales page, things don't convert as well because it didn't connect with them, because either they weren't the right client, or there was no solutions. All they heard was features. And those are important. Of course they are. But those are the icing. That's like the bonus. That is the bonus to whatever it is that you're going to give them. In addition to that, they get X, Y, and Z. So you want to make sure that you know you're not selling them fluff. You're not selling them glitz and glam and the confetti toss and the glitter toss and that stuff, because that's cute and that's great for your content. But what does that do for them if you're going to have a confetti toss? Is that when you're celebrating them reaching their goals? Is that when you're celebrating that the project is done? Is that what that glitter toss and that confetti toss is for? I don't know, because I always wonder when I read that in people's content, what is that supposed to be for? Because they really don't attach that to the solutions. Now, if you say that, continue to say that if your ideal clients like it. I'm not knocking anybody who uses those phrases, but what is it? When I read certain content, I'm thinking, well, I don't know what that means. What does that mean with what she's trying to sell me right here? So if I'm asking that question, your ideal clients are asking that same question too. So they want to know when they come to your sales pages, when they get on your Facebook Lives, when they go to your group, when they're reading your newsletter, what solutions. And it may just be you're giving someone topics or, tips, strategy, maybe just something. Ask yourself the question, what am I answering what they need? If they need something, am I answering this? And am I providing fluff, or am I providing solutions-based things? So that's what they want to know. It's okay to say I have if their formula step is 10 steps, I'm not going to say bend the truth, but don't say it's 10 steps. That's a lot of work. They also want to know too, this is the next thing, and I'm looking at my notes. They also want to know, have you done this for yourself, or have you done this for other people? Now, newbies always shy away from this because they feel like, well, I'm just now starting my business, so if I don't have any clients, then no one's going to buy from you, which is not true, because going back to solutions, sharing that, if you can provide solutions, people will still buy from you. If you position yourself as a go-to expert in your industry, as we talked about last week in last week's episode, people will buy from you. Solutions, and you know your ideal client, what they want, what they need. And this really goes back to making sure you have that ideal client avatar, not the stiff, stuffy one that asks you how old they are, but it's really about the characteristics and what you do want and what you don't want in someone that you want to work with. Like for me, on my ideal client profile, I started writing down first the characteristics that I did not want them to have. I did not want someone who was going to not do the work. I did not want someone who was going to yank my chain and not pay on time, because, that's not going to fly here. I did not want someone who would make a bunch of excuses. I don't have time for excuses. I don't want anyone. I don't make excuses. I don't want you life happens, but I don't want an excuse. I don't want someone who's not going to trust the process. Those are things that you want to have down as your characteristics of your ideal client, and then write the characteristics that you do want. What are those traits? So a lot of this stuff goes back to having those foundational things that many of us skip when we first start our business. And I did this too, because I thought I was just going to help women build their businesses, or I was just going to help healthcare providers with their back office medical billing stuff. And I quickly learned that that's not the case, because you don't want to start talking to everybody. You want to be making sure that you're talking to that one specific person, or someone who fits into the criteria of your dream ideal client. So make sure that every time you're speaking to someone, solutions-based is results. They will always want to know the results that you provide them. And you also want to share stories too. You can share stories about your ideal clients. Testimonials are always great. And maybe you did this for yourself. Maybe you built your website. Maybe you were able to build your brand. Maybe you were able to get yourself the publicity that you're getting your ideal clients. Maybe it's you found out a certain way to do something and it's worked for you and you decided to package it up and, show others how to do it. Whatever the case is, those results, those are key. Not the step, not the formula. It's the results, not the fluff, not the features. It's the results that they want to hear every single time. So I noticed that when I'm on Facebook or in Facebook groups, even on LinkedIn sometimes, you see people who are posting things that don't get a lot of engagement in the groups that they're in. And that's very discouraging if you're not getting any engagement on your post, because that's your content. You're setting yourself, your goal is to, hey, position yourself as the expert. So I'm sharing this value. I'm sharing what I know. But often when you're sharing these things, you don't look at it like the expert because it's not speaking to someone directly, and it's not solution based. So those two things are one of the main reasons why, even doing my own market research in certain groups, that I see a lot of people where they don't get engagement on their posts. And I feel for those people, so I try to go and comment or like the person's post because I know what they're trying to do. There might be just something where they need to fill in the gap and it's not there yet. So I always try to encourage that person by liking or commenting on the post. But if you find that happens to be you and you're not getting any engagement, go back to what you wrote. Did you just give somebody tips? Did you just tell a story and then it was like, well, what was the story about? Like, what was the, ending? What was the solutions? What did I get? So when you find out, when you go back and create that content, go back. If you have to make the adjustments, tweak it. Post it again. Or post it in another group or tell another story and then add the solution there. Add the results they got. That's what your ideal clients, they want to know. These stories that make you relatable, the stories of your ideal clients or your existing clients that got results with you, they want to know those things. They want to know how you went from nothing to something. They want to know how you were able to go from, being broke down or beaten or whatever the case is, or to not having enough to having more than enough, living in lack to abundance. So whatever it is that being 200 pounds overweight to now being in your best, in the best shape that you are. That's what they want to know. So explain those things, share those results. Don't always do tips. Tips are fun and great, but they don't really, there's no resolution. There's no solution. There's no connection because a lot of times people are not going to take those tips anyways and put them to work. Let's just be honest. They're not. They're not. So, do we have any questions? We don't. So I'm going to end this episode of Empirenista TV, the Facebook Live edition. And just remember, your clients, they don't care about the glitter. They don't care about the features. It's not about that. It is about what they need solved for them right away and how you can do that. Position yourself as the go-to expert by providing the solutions to their problems, okay? Ask when you're creating content, ask when you are talking to them on the phone, what questions and what answers am I providing to them to show and establish that I am the expert for them and their needs. So that is it for today's episode of Empirenista TV. For those of you who want to connect with me on a more personal level, join my Facebook community, the Empirenista Business Incubator, for girl chat, biz strategy, fun, we cut up in there because we like to have fun in business. It's not about being stuffy. It's about being real, relatable, and slaying your goals. So until the next episode of Empirenista TV, continue to build your empire and have an empire building productive week.